Hey everybody, this is Juan from the Byte, that team. I'm joined alongside Mr. Jamie Burko, Anthony Fleming, and the War Machine, Ryan McNulty. And something happened in 2014 that I don't think can ever really happen again. Of course, I got to talk about, the fact that Brock Lesnar, and we're going to talk about Undertaker. The streak ended.
Gone.
We got a lot of stuff in wrestling. People would say Hulk Hogan was never going to turn into a bad guy. He did. We got the New World Order. People said the streak was never going to end. We were going to get Sting versus Undertaker. That was going to be it. And the streak was going to remain intact permanently. Lo and behold, in a match that nobody expected, the streak came to an end. So I think that brings up a question. What do streaks mean? I think that's the first thing we got to bring up. What does a streak mean to you, for example, Jamie? Because I know you're a big Taker fan.
I'm still a very big Taker fan. I still go back and watch some of the old Undertaker matches, especially back in the Attitude Era. I really enjoy the matches back then. But the WrestleMania streak, I honestly thought that was never going to end. And if it was going to end, Brock Lesnar would not have been my guy, but that's something completely different.
We're not in that timeline.
I mean, the undefeated streak that The Undertaker had meant more than any of the titles that WWE had. I mean, that was the number one thing you look forward to at WrestleMania for some people was, is this going to be the year Undertaker loses? And then you had people like, oh, Undertaker's not going to lose. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And then when he faced Triple H, when he faced Shawn Michaels, you might have had that one moment where you actually thought, oh my God, they're actually going to end the streak. I remember watching the first Undertaker-Shawn Michaels match. When that third super kick hit, I thought that was it. I was like, no way. They're actually going to have Shawn Michaels break the streak after that third super kick.
Yeah, Keith and I were actually at the Hell in a Cell, and when he got the super kick and the pedigree, we're like, they're actually doing it?
Secret plan.
What is this? We had a guy with an Undertaker tattoo sitting next to us, he got it 1994.
Oh, boy.
Holy crap. And he was almost crying. So yeah, what does it mean to you? When you think about a wrestling streak overall, a guy that is undefeated, people are just waiting. Is anybody going to beat him? Is it going to stay like that? What does that mean to you?
It means I keep watching. I remember when Goldberg first came to WCW, he went I don't know how many in for undefeated streak.
Yeah,
whatever
it got exaggerated towards the end.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Anyways, it keeps people watching. Every year for WrestleMania, even though I didn't watch wrestling, I still oh, Undertaker in it? Did he win? Did the streak still go on? And it's always yes, until this year when it was a no. So it keeps me interested when I hear people are going undefeated.
We get guys like Ryback. So taking it to you, Ryan. A guy that's new, relatively new considering the gimmick. I mean, he's been Ryan Reeves. He was Skip Sheffield in the Nexus. But what does it mean for new guys like Ryback? Guys that, take on jobbers, guys that people may not know too much. You actually brought up a video a little while ago about that. Should WWE use jobbers? So what does it do for him? Does it interest you?
Streaks, I feel can be good, but they can also really limit a wrestler because if you really emphasize a streak, then that first loss that they have is going to really pack a punch and it's going to really hurt their momentum. Undertaker's situation was one that was, ideal because, his streak is just at WrestleMania. So he can lose, any other match, around the year, and it's perfectly fine. So, you're not really locked into a certain situation. I know you're cuddling with John Cena. You can stop smiling and trying to make me laugh right now. Exactly. Thanks for making me lose my train of thought.
It's part of my job.
But no. Ryback, when he was really hot and he was beating everybody in his path. Yeah, okay. Laughed. Are you done?
I'm good. See the plushie.
Basically, when he lost, that first loss just felt really bad, especially the way that it was done.
They booked themselves in a corner.
Exactly. They were booked into a corner. It just felt like a really crappy loss, and it really hurt Ryback's momentum.
He just went down.
But had he had some good losses, I mean, there's such thing as a good loss. I mean, look at John Cena's debut, or you could see, Stone Cold against Bret Hart. If you have some good losses along the way, you'll be the crowd will be a little bit more sympathetic to you, and you're not kind of stuck in the streak mode because, just to touch on the Goldberg thing, a lot of people thought after the streak was over, nobody cared.
And it was true, and
yeah.
I want to actually compare the two streaks. We got Undertaker, Goldberg. Big difference because Undertaker, it was a match that happened once a year. He could lose 50 times during that year. Mm-hmm. What mattered was WrestleMania. Goldberg, it was every match, every show. And it was a guy that was new since day one, wouldn't lose. Undertaker had lost in that process. It's not like he went,
well, towards the end, I mean, he barely ever lost.
No, but yeah, exactly. Like, all the way towards the end. But like even Ryan said, imagine like if Ryback mostly lost and all of a sudden he started like picking up, people would just be referencing the past. So
like now?
Exactly. So what is different from a streak like Goldberg? New guy, losing, winning every match pretty much, versus Undertaker, a guy that's been there and then has that one match a year. Which one is actually the most interesting to you?
Question to me?
It's a tough one, not to anybody.
Yeah, I can't answer that question myself, so Ryan.
Oh.
I'm passing it to you.
Well, it's happened to me.
All right, put me on the spot. Well, like I said, I think Undertaker's is just far more flexible, and it happened over a very long period of time, because it's like most people didn't even notice for the longest time. I don't even think WWE noticed that Undertaker hadn't lost at WrestleMania yet. And then, they really started emphasizing it once he got to like 12 wins or something, and they were like, holy crap, we have something here.
Yeah.
Whereas, these, so organic might be the word there. And you got a guy like Ryback or Goldberg where it's intentional. He's not going to lose. We're going to keep this going as long as we can. But it's like you build that up, and then the second it's over, it's what do you have? So there's a lot more to be lost, I feel like.
One thing I want to bring up, you mentioned it was different with Goldberg. Goldberg had a lot of presence. Like, I remember I actually saw that match that he had with Hugh Morris, and obviously I had no idea who he was. That was the very first match that started the streak. And even I was thinking like, okay, who's this guy? There was just something about that versus a guy like Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas, for those that don't know, a guy that was from NXT, so like the developmental territory, was an FCW, became NXT champion, went undefeated for a little while in the main roster, but let's face it.
He lost to R-Truth.
No, he lost to R-Truth, and let's face it. When you look at Bo Dallas, you don't think undefeated streak. So how much do you think the presence factor plays into the whole undefeated situation?
It definitely plays a factor. To be honest, going back to Ryback, if you would have actually just had him keep killing jobbers and low-card guys every week, look how over this guy was getting just from doing that. It was insane. Like, I've actually heard people talking, and like at WrestleMania, there was actually this one guy in front of me, the WrestleMania where he faced Mark Henry and lost during his whole losing streak. But there was someone who was like really into Ryback. He was a huge Ryback mark. He had the Feed Me More, his chanting Feed Me More. He was a huge Ryback fan. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I think, with the whole Goldberg thing and Ryback, like, it's bound to just, fall apart. But presence absolutely matters. They wouldn't have given that streak to Goldberg if he didn't have that presence, didn't kind of get that buzz as soon as he was, the way he could just destroy people. And if you look at, Undertaker, he's another guy. Well, he's all about presence and atmosphere. When his entrance hits, like you feel it.
Oh yeah,
you feel it.
That gong goes off.
By the time he gets to the ring, you're like, this guy already won the match.
You're already like exhausted from the amount of energy that's like going on. So, presence absolutely. I don't know if Ryback really had the same presence that Goldberg or Undertaker has, but he definitely there was an impressive factor there, especially with he'd face two jobbers and do a shell shock to both of them at the same time.
Yeah, so it was variety.
Yes. Had they committed a little bit longer to it, it might have been something, but there's no answer to the problem that Goldberg had. It's not like they could not make the same mistake. It has to end eventually. They could have maybe done it a little bit better than with like tasers and stuff that Kevin. They could have had a better ending to it. But yeah, maybe had they not been put in that situation, Ryback could have been
someone real quick. What about Rusev?
Yeah, Rusev is somebody that we definitely can talk on a future video, because I think between guys like Rusev, guys that have like these characters where it's not just a matter of being undefeated, but it's undefeated and almost like making fun of the fact that, yeah, you cannot beat me. So for those listening, actually watching, I want to ask you, what is the biggest thing. Because another thing I thought of is also like the commentary. The commentary built, Roddy Piper when Undertaker debuted, the way he did that. The way Tony Schiavone and all those guys did that when Goldberg debuted. So that plays a big factor versus, the different commentary that we got nowadays. So let us know what you think is the most important part in an undefeated streak by leaving a comment below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's right here. We got the podcast every single Tuesday. It's available on all these things right here. Careful, Ryan. It's right there. So, yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. We'll be back with many more videos right here with the table at the YouTube channel.